Hello, everyone out there. A very happy 75th Indian Independence Day. I really am so happy to be celebrating this greatest auspicious eve. So, by now, you must have understood from the thumbnail or the title below that I have been doing this video of searching all the Indian authors or the books which speak about India from my bookshelf, and I really love this process. I have tried to film it basically so as to be for me to remember that I had to deep dive into the bookshelf and try to sieve out all the favorite books which were written by the Indian authors. By now, I have already found The White Tiger by Arundhati and I have found The God of Small Things, Namesake, and many more. So I have been basically now searching the bookshelf which is below my study desk. I usually stack these books like in that manner, all thanks to the space cringe I currently am facing. And I clearly can make it out that most of the bookworms have always this problem of the space cringe or the money cringe. So I have already stacked all of the books which I have, and I really am proud of them. So this is the way I've been stacking them, and I really am proud about all the tower which is being formed from these books. Hello, beautiful people. A very happy 75th Indian Independence Day, and I just cannot hold my excitement or pleasure because it has always been a part and parcel of our life. This nation has given us many more things than we can actually expect. Most importantly, life and place to live. So, as we are all celebrating this Independence Day as a great occasion, this also prompted the reader in me to basically pick up the books in my bookshelf which are written by the Indian authors or at least speak about India. Well, this is a stack I have currently with me. These are the physical books which I have read are from the Indian authors. Some of them are also from the ebooks which I'll be just putting down when I'll be speaking. And also I've basically divided this video into two sections. The section 1 will be speaking about the books which I have bought out of my interest, when the section 2 will be speaking about the books which were sent to me by the authors for review, that is a free book in exchange for an honest review. So without further delay, let's get started. So the first book, which of course you will be guessing this, I would be speaking, and that is The God of Small Things by Arundhati Roy. It was the winner of 2009 Man Booker Prize, and I just cannot emphasize enough how much I love this book. Every bit of this book is in my heart. The lines, the poetic way it has been spelt, and the whole plot line is something I cannot even emphasize enough. You have to read this book only when you will be understanding the beauty in this. So this is the first book which brought me into the reading world. So this is always special to me, and I'm glad I started reading from an Indian author basically. The second book which I have is which I've spoken a million times already in my videos, and that is The Namesake by Jhumpa Lahiri. Every bit of this book feels homely. If we are speaking about Indian authors, how can I forget the greatest Indian mythological reteller and a narrator, that is Amish Tripathi, and all his books. I have read the Shiva trilogy as ebooks, so I do not have the physical copies of them. Amish is sort of the greatest storyteller I have ever found. His way of telling the story is much more compelling and much closer to the heart. You can quite a lot relate with the characters, and all I found about him is he does a great research before he portrays a character. He does not he in no way offends any set of community in India, but also he creates a masterpiece within itself, and the storyline is simply the known one, yet it is retold in a beautiful manner. So Amish Tripathi has to be on this list. The next book which I have on my series, this was our latest addition into my bookshelf, and that is Ajaya. I haven't even taken the cover off. It's Ajaya by Anand Nilkanthan. This is again a retelling of the Mahabharata. So it is a part 1. It is also subtitled as the Epic of the Kaurava clan, that is the roll of dice. Probably this will be speaking about the Dyut Sabha and probably the whole scenario near the Draupadi Vastraharan or many more. Of course, he is one of the greatest reteller of the Indian mythological stories. So I just could not wait more to start reading this book. So moving on to the next book, that is The White Tiger by Arvind Adiga. I have been waiting to basically read this book for so long. It is a winner of the Man Booker Prize for the year 2014. I have heard many praises for this book. Yet it's still on my TBR, but I pretty much love the cover which I have. It kind of gives me the Indianness kind of thing, the homely look to this book, and also this story is kind of really captivating. So I just cannot wait to start this book right now. The next book which I have is The Last Avatar by Vishwas Modagal. This I basically was quite a lot interested because of the cover, which is kind of really attractive, to be very honest. It's too much of attractive, and I can clearly make out when they were said the last avatar, it is supposed to be in and around Kalki Bhagwan. But there was this story about Hanumanji, and I love this robo character. So this is basically a humanoid robot created by this person called Kalki, and there is this huge amount of scientific fiction thing going on, China being attacking India, the whole parliament being blasted off, and all that things. I loved the whole part of this book, but somewhere I also felt that it was rather a more mythical and mystical point of writing rather than a basic science fiction types. I don't know, this book was not for me. I read it twice, but somewhere I could not get the crux. Probably it did not connect with me well. It was a huge disappointment for me. But also consider the fact that this was one of the books which I got as a gift for my birthday from my mother. So it's really special to me, and I just am holding this book right over here. Now coming on to the next book, I have already spoken about this book way back in one of the video, and that is My Childhood Memories by Sharda Dubey. Sharda Dubey is not a typical Indian author like the one who writes many books, but this book was kind of really close to me considering the fact that again my mother gifted me this book on one of the birthdays, and it contains the childhood memories of many of greatest people around the world. Einstein, Vivekananda, Mahatma Gandhi ji, there is Nelson Mandela, Sarojini Naidu, Leonardo da Vinci, Tulsi Das, and every many more. So I really loved peeping into their childhood and you see getting a small glimpse of what are the major incidents which would have probably made them famous. I know you are waiting for some of the authors. I know some of the authors are something which we expect to be in this video. I'll be putting them in the last, so make sure you're watching the video till the end. So now moving on to the next book, which was of course the greatest disappointment for me, and I repent that this book is upon my shelf, and that is One Arranged Murder by Chetan Bhagat. It was not the book which I kind of expected. It was too lame, to be honest, for an author who is known India wide, and for a person who's been respected as an author. This was not the book or the kind of way of writing which a reader would expect from him. So I was hugely disappointed by the story. I have made a special video review about this book, comparing this with a new author who has sent me a book to review. So comparing these both thriller books, this did not stand. Now I really wanted to speak about this book. I have read about half of the book. It's not quite a longer one, and that is Prison Days by Vijayalakshmi Pandit, who is a sister of the first Prime Minister of India, that is late Shri Jawaharlal Nehru. This book is basically a kind of diary entry sorts, which is the diary directly of the Vijayalakshmi Pandit ji, which speaks about her prison days and how she had to struggle coming from an elite family and surviving in the prison only for a greater tomorrow, that is for us. There are some instances where tears absolutely roll through your eyes. I bought this book from the great Lock the Box sale by booktuber.com. I have made a special video about all the books which I have bought that day. Of course, it has been the largest viewed content over my channel, so I'm so happy for that. And you can also check that this book, I've spoken a lot about this book in that video too, so you can check that video. I'll be tagging it here, or I'll be putting the link in the description below too. Now moving on to the next book, which was a kind of unexpected pick. I bought this from a thrift store. It costed me about 30 rupees, and that is Nostalgia by M. Vasanji. Basically was kind of really attracted towards the cover, and this is how the cover looks like. The story is a science fiction sorts where people are able to remember generations, like they can easily remember. They can easily live 3 lives, that is a past, present and future. They are able to live in a specific timeline which they want. And in one such story, there is this one guy who comes to the government and he claims that he's basically suffering from leak memory syndrome. That is what simply they call as nostalgia. I love the whole terminology they call the leak memory syndrome, nostalgia, this new thought of living in the whatever timeline you want, and everything of this feels much interesting. So I just cannot wait to start with reading this book. Now the next book, it's really huge, to be very honest. I bought it from a thrift store. It's a little mutilated, to be honest. It's kind of little mutilated, but never mind. The pages are absolutely fine, so it works for me. And it is We That Are Young by Priti Taneja. I have heard many praises for her way of writing. This book is pure family drama. You see the pride, pratishtha and all that sorts. And I just cannot wait to start reading this book. It's quite a huge one, so I'm delaying it continuously and kind of really procrastinating it. But let's see how this book basically goes. These two books are the ones which I again bought from the Lock the Box sale by Booktuber. I am actually going for again one more book fair this Saturday. You will be getting this video very soon. So these two books are, one is by Nominal Chakraborty, and that is Cheaters. These are 8 short stories, and these are 9 short stories which are about love, betrayal, lust, many more. And I love the cover. It's just too attractive. I just cannot wait to start reading this book. And this is World's Best Boyfriend by Durjoy Datta. I have heard many praises for this book, and I personally started reading this book but could not finish it off. So I basically DNF for this book, and again I am thinking of starting reading this book yet again. So this is how it is. So this is the one which I really was looking forward to read, and that is The Life of Others, The Lives of Others by Neil Mukherjee. The title itself was so intriguing. I could not resist to start reading this book. And the cover, oh my god, this is something which a book lover cannot resist from. And knowing the fact that this was a book in the shortlisted of Man Booker Prize 2014, in the list where The White Tiger was the winner, I am so glad that 2 Indian authors made it out to 2014 Man Booker Prize list. And the story is all about an unnoticed family in Calcutta in about 1960s, and how they lead their life in incognito. They kind of escape, they kind of migrate, and there's political activism, there is drama, there is riot, a lot more. So this book is on my TBR forever now. I realize that there are many books on my TBR which are from Indian authors, and you can clearly make out that my shelf is half empty already. I have picked up all the books. You would have actually watched that clip while I was picking the books from my bookshelf. So it's kind of really empty, and I really am glad that I have enough of the Indian authors on my bookshelf to be at least claiming as an Indian reader. Oh my god, I don't know, but Indian authors and their style of writing is something which makes me culturally and ethnically connected towards the book. So yeah, and now we are coming to the author about whom you were waiting forever. How can I forget the greatest Indian author, Dr. Srimati Sudha Murthy. She is a flawless writer. I have specially saved the last part of the video for her books, because it's must. Her way of writing deserves this kind of time limit. This is a book which I have as paperback copy. The others I have read as ebooks, and it is called The Magic of the Lost Temple. It's quite a shorter, cute little childhood story about a small girl going to her granny's house, playing happily in her summer holidays, remembering nostalgia, suddenly finding a temple which is abandoned, excavating it, finding new idols, and a whole new adventure. This is short, but doesn't that seem much interesting? And that is the way Sudha Murthy writes. Her way of writing feels and it touches the hearts either by an infant or by an elderly people, because it's universally lovable way of writing is what Sudha Murthy ma'am possesses. So her humbleness, her humility is what always inspires me as a person, and as an author, as a reader, I have always adored the way she writes and the stories which she picks up from the folk stories which India have, and many more grandmom stories which I always am indebted to her for writing such books. So this is that book. Now this is another book which I really wanted you all to read at least once in your lifetime, and that is My Odyssey, a memoir by K. Radhakrishnan. K. Radhakrishnan is this person who you must have understood by now that he is worked as the chairman of ISRO, that is Indian Space Research Organization, and he was the chairman of ISRO when exactly the MOM, that is Mars Orbital Machine, or the Mangalyaan was launched, and it was a success right in the first go, in the least amount of expenditure one can ever imagine. So this expedition towards Mars has been creating histories in the space technologies throughout the world, and India has stood itself as a peculiar sorts, and that is because of a collective teamwork of all the greatest people or the greatest minds of Indian Space Research Organization, and he being the chairman of that also gives him a special stature. This book is a story about his lifetime. It is not an autobiography, rather it's a memoir. But I really suggest this book for two types of readers. That is, one who are really interested to know what his life would be, and second one, the people who are interested to know how should they be managing their job in a government organization, because it clearly in this book he has shared his greatest insights of how we should be managing or how should we be dealing with people around us while we are working in an organization. So now quickly moving on to the second section of the video, which are the books which were sent to me as a physical copies for a review. That is a free book in exchange for an honest review by the Indian authors. Of course, the physical copies can be sent to me only by the Indian authors, and that is, these are the 5 books. I have basically got 7 books till date, and I'm so glad, and it makes my heart feel blessed. And among these 7 books, 2 were not from the Indian authors. One was from a Pakistani author, and the other one was from an author from South Africa. While the other 5 books which I have with me basically now are completely from the Indian authors. I'll quickly show you what them are. The first ever book which I basically got to be reviewed is in a physical copy is Only the Good Die Young. I have made this video specially about this review, comparing this with The Failure of the Suspense Thriller by Chetan Bhagat, which I have already told you. So you need to check that video out for a greater glance. Akash Verma has been a great thriller writer. You have to check this book out. Then I have the second book which was sent to me was The Shadow of the Past by Mayank Manohar. It was a kind of a mediocre read for me. It's the typical way of writing which kind of did not attract me much, and it's just a nice book. That's it. And then the next book, which was a bulk book which I basically have got, is The Grandness Revelation by Anubhav Anand. I am currently reading this book. I am in page number 90 exactly right now. This book is completely a science fiction, and every bit of this book feels good. Yet I am lately not into this book because it's so slow, and the plot is not captivating me currently. And the 2 unread books which are still on my shelf, which were sent me by the authors, was Scarlet by Rajendra Sarela. It has been considered a great release. It was also reviewed by Soumya's Book Station, and I'm glad that I got this book as a review copy. It's quite a shorter one, thin one, and it's a complete fantasy book. So, and the cover itself kind of really intrigued me a lot. And one more book which I have with me is Unlocking the Shine by Meenakshi Goswami. It is an anthology with a collection of poems which kind of inspire you to rise and deal with the things which you have in your life. So that is how this book is all about. With that being said, I will be taking a leave from you all. It has been a great way of showing you all the books which I have, and if at all you have read any more books from many more Indian authors which were not in this video, or probably which you love in this video, don't forget to mention them in the comment section so that I can get to know about more Indian authors. And also don't forget to leave some suggestions in the comment box so that I can basically pick them up. And as from Medico's Book World, from Achyut Murari, I sincerely wish you all a very happy Independence Day, and don't forget that you have a duty towards this country and try to strive for that. Namaskar.